This video is aimed at helping all the people working in an eye operation theatre based on the protocol followed at Divya Jyoti Trust, Mandvi. Every hospital needs to work out protocol for themselves, including the length of surgical session in a day, giving enough time for cleaning before and after the surgeries, and fix the maximum number of surgeries per surgeon per day. Please refer to the manual from Sight Savers or Vision 2020, Right to Sight India program. Also refer to AIOS guideline and NPCB guideline to prevent infections in cataract surgery. The three most important reasons leading to post-operative infection in the order of importance are inadvertent touch, sterilization failure, environmental factors. Patient factors also play a role. To concentrate on what we need to do, patient factors are not mentioned here. Operation theatre layout. However, the maintenance of sterilization starts from physical layout of the theatre and should not be overlooked under any circumstances. Major zones of operation theatre are outer zone, reception area which is accessible to all. Clean zone comprises of change room and transfer area which is accessible to staff only. Aseptic zone, sterile area which includes scrub area, gowning area, and operating room. Disposal zone, where used linen is kept and used disposables are segregated and then disposed of. Sterile and unsterile areas should be segregated. Airlock to be provided, preferably adding air curtain unless there is positive pressure ventilation. Separate entries for the scrubbed staff and sterile items and circulating staff, patients, and unsterile items and waste disposal. The operation theatre should have full wall glazed tiles with minimum joints and stone or vitrified tiles flooring. Marble being porous material should be avoided. Minimum 20 air exchanges per hour are ensured by split AC. Central AC with AHU is the best but very costly. NABH standard requires this. Sterile quality of air in the OT is better maintained by employing air cleaner, which should be turned on while the surgical session is going on. HEPA filter with filtering capacity of less than 0.3 micron is considered much better. Laminar airflow above the sterile field is also a good option if afforded cost-wise. Dehumidifier can be used to maintain humidity between 30 to 60%. Patient preparation. The patient is asked to wash the face thoroughly with water and soap in the ward. Better if a complete scrub bath can be ensured. Inside the OT complex, the patient should be given clean OT dress, shoe covers and caps. No need to cut the eyelashes. Instead, cover them properly under the plastic drape. Painting of eyebrow and eyelid margin with 10% povidone iodine solution should be done on the previous day, and antibiotic eye drops should be instilled 1 hourly on the previous day. Personal preparation. A strict dress code must be implemented. Simple hand wash should be done before wearing cap and mask. Cap to cover hairline completely to prevent hair falling on the operating site. Mask will reduce the organisms exhaled from entering the room air. High filtration disposable type mask achieves 98% protection as compared with only 40% with muslin mask. Linen mask should be changed every hour. Disposable mask can be used for one session. One should not touch the area around mouth and nose. There will be plenty of organisms in this area of the mask. Once the mask is removed or brought below the nose, should be changed. Block area. Trolley should be thoroughly cleaned with disinfectant solution. An autoclaved sterile towel should be placed over it before placing the required material. Anesthetic solution, syringes, needles, etc. All the cotton and linen used in the block area should be pre-sterilized. Check indicator strips before use. 5% povidone iodine eye drops should be instilled in the conjunctival sac at the time of the block. Hygiene hand wash before each block should be done, and then chlorhexidine hand rub or equivalent solution should be applied on hands. Allow it to dry for 30 seconds. Painting of the peculiar region from lateral to medial side with the particular attention to the eyebrows and lid margin should be done with cotton swab dipped in 10% povidone iodine before giving block. Scrubbing. Distilled water is considered best for scrubbing. Alternately purified, boiled, or chlorinated tap water can be used. However, purified water is good enough. Removal of all the jewelry and wristwatches prior to scrubbing is mandatory. First step is of 3 minutes. Leather is worked with soap up to 3 cm above the elbow for about 1 minute. The soap is then rinsed off. The flow of water should always be from fingertips to the elbows. Repeat this 3 times. Second step is of 4 minutes. The next step is scrubbing of the hand with povidone iodine or chlorhexidine. Scrub each hand with the other, like hand to hand, right palm over left dorsum, left palm over right dorsum, palm to palm with fingers interlaced, back of fingers into opposite palm with fingers interlocked. Rotational rubbing of thumbs with opposite hand, rotational rubbing of the tips of fingers and thumb of right hand in left palm and then opposite. Hands are rinsed thoroughly under running water after scrubbing. Repeat this twice. Remember, keep hands above the level of elbow throughout the scrubbing. Keep hands away from the body with hands above the level of elbow after scrubbing. The hands should be dried with the sterile towel. Begin with the hand, wrists and then forearms. Avoid to and fro movement to prevent contaminating clean area. Avoid splashing of water while scrubbing. Don't dry up to elbow. Gowning and gloving technique. Gowning. Pick up the gown holding it well away from the trolley and your own body. Hold the neckband and unroll it until the sleeves are seen. Slide both hands and arms into the sleeves at the same time. The floor nurse or the assistant slides her hand under the gown at the shoulder and pulls out and fastens all the back tapes. Remember, do not keep the hands below the waistline, near one's neck or shoulder. Don't touch the axillary area or back of the gown once gowned. Gloving. There are 2 methods of gloving. The open method, the closed method. Open method. Take chlorhexidine or its equivalent solution on bare hands. Pick up the first glove by gripping its cuffs with one hand and slide the other hand in. With the gloved hand, pick up the second glove by sliding hand under the cuff on the outside of the glove and slide the ungloved hand in and release the grip. The cuff of the second glove is pulled over the stockinette sleeves of the gown. The cuff of other glove is then pulled over the stockinette sleeve. Closed method. The hands are not pushed beyond the stockinette cuffs of the gown. The cuff of the left hand glove is grasped through the stockinette part of the right sleeve. The left hand is inserted into the glove and then the glove, grasped by the right hand, is pulled over the left hand. After stretching the cuff, the glove is pulled over the sleeve and the hand is forced through the stockinette cuffs into the glove. The second glove is put on in a similar manner, except that the cuff can be grasped with the already gloved hand and the right hand is forced through the stockinette cuffs into the glove. After washing the gloves, it should be cleaned off the powder on the surface by washing it with cotton swab soaked in Ringer lactate solution. Otherwise, it can cause sterile uveitis. Take chlorhexidine or its equivalent solution on gloved hands to form a layer on the surface to further enhance antisepsis and allow it to dry for 30 seconds before starting the surgery. Removal of gown at the end of the procedure. The circulatory nurse will unfasten the gown and it is carefully removed by the scrubbed nurse, leaving the gloves on. The gown with the inside folded out is placed in the appropriate bin. Removal of the gloves for both types of gloving technique. To prevent outer surface of gloves from contaminating hands, the gloved fingers of one hand, Grip the outer surface of the cuff and pulled off inside out. To prevent contamination of the ungloved hand, the inside of the cuff of the opposite glove is held and pulled off the hand. Gloves are discarded into the designated container. Trolley preparation. The trolley is cleaned with spirit using unidirectional strokes. Place a sterile towel first and then a sterile polythene plastic sheet over it. A separate folded towel to be used for sharp instruments. Instrument must be placed over it with tips facing up. On the table. Trolley should not be burnt but should be cleaned with spirit using unidirectional strokes. Common trolley should not be used. Painting povidone iodine 10% for 3 minutes on skin and periorbital area, boundary, hairline, tip of nose, nasolabial fold and ear on the side of the eye to be operated. Swab should be held by swab holder or artery forceps, not by hand. Direction. From medial canthus to lateral canthus, semicircular motion inside out. If povidone iodine 10% is contraindicated, allergy or hyperthyroidism, an aqueous solution of chlorhexidine 2% should be used instead. Allow it to act for 2 minutes. Disposable adhesive drape. Big size plastic disposable drapes to isolate lashes are good. If possible, avoid using linen drapes as it is porous material which can transmit the organism more so if it becomes wet. For antisepsis of the conjunctiva and cornea, 5% povidone iodine solution just before the block and before beginning with the actual surgery is the chemical preparation of choice, which should be left in place for a minimum of 3 minutes. Should keep sharp instrument on towel such that tip is facing up. Do not poke the instruments onto the towel. Do not touch sutures or IOL, any instruments to lid margins. Keep used and unused instruments separate. Etiquettes inside the operation theatre. While observing surgery, one should keep one's hands behind one's back, thereby decreasing the temptation to reach out and contaminating the sterile supplies or area. One should never touch or pass hand over the sterile field. One should avoid passing between two sterile fields. One should maintain at least a 1 foot clearance from the sterile field. One should not lean over the sterile field and hence do not allow any of his or her clothing to touch the sterile field. Excessive sneezing and coughing should be avoided. Talking, singing should also be avoided. Observers should not stand behind the surgeon but should stand in front of and away while circulating for surgery. Sterile packet is not used if the sterility is doubtful. Check the package for holes or breaches. Always check expiry date before opening the pack. Always open a sterile pack away from yourself, keeping fingers on outside of the wrapper. When pouring sterile water, povidone iodine or while giving IOL, hold container approximately 6 inches above the sterile field. Excessive sneezing and coughing should be avoided. While scrubbed for the surgery. When donning gowns and gloves, it is to be ensured that bare hands touch only inside of the gown and gloves. The back of the gown and area from the waist below is not considered sterile, hence one has to remain facing the sterile area. The area around neck and the region of armpit is also considered unsterile. When changing places with other scrubbed person, one has to do so back to back. The sterile instruments should be kept above the waist level. Keep gloved hands above the waist level and below the chin level or keep them on the top side of the sterile field. If the hands are idle, one has to clasp them together in the front or on the sterile trolley. Don't fold hands under armpits nor put them in gown pocket. When a cough or sneeze is inevitable, step back from the sterile field and one should turn his or her head away. Surgeon should not touch unsterile portion of microscope. Put sharp instruments keeping edge upward on clean towel. Do not pierce instruments on towel. Do not let your mask hang loose around the neck and reuse the same. Do not prepare all trolleys beforehand. Moisture is a potential source of contamination. Don't use moisture-soaked linen packages in between two surgeries. RL, viscoelastics, SICS blades should not be used on to the next patient without re-sterilization. Surgical instruments set including SICS blades can be autoclaved. Gloves must be changed after each surgery. Ideally, one should re-scrub after each surgery for 3 minutes. Each time fresh trolley should be prepared after removing everything from it. Each time, autoclaved set of instruments must be used, and for that, flash autoclave can be used to sterilize instruments between two surgeries. Cleaning the instruments. Instruments should be cleaned as soon as possible after the use. Use distilled water only for cleaning purpose. An ultrasonic cleaner can be used for cleaning the instruments. It thoroughly cleans the depths of the cannulas, tubes, and other unreachable parts. An enzyme solution is added to facilitate the cleaning progress, though this is not mandatory. The ideal cycle time is 30 minutes. Ultrasonic cleaning can be done once at the end of the day, not mandatory between surgeries. Particular attention need to be given to tubings and cannulas. 4-bowl cleaning technique should be followed, in which the instruments are first brushed with the soft toothbrush in first bowl containing mineral water with disinfectant, then rinsed in 3 bowls containing mineral water. This should be done even if the ultrasonic cleaner is used. Cannulated instruments are first flushed with distilled water 3 times and then with air 3 times before packing. Use copious amount of water and air for the purpose. Phacoprobe and tubing are cleaned in cleaning mode of phaco machine to remove residual tissue and water droplets. Irrigation and aspiration handpieces are flushed thrice with 50 cc distilled water. It is repeated thrice with air to remove water droplets. Packaging and loading the instruments for sterilization. The instruments are then dried with clean towel, tipped with plastic sleeve, and are segregated into separate sets. They are then packed in individual perforated stainless steel trays, which are placed in the bins with indicator. 3 indicator tapes should be placed inside, 1 in the bottom, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the top of the bin, and 1 on the external surface of the bin. Tight packing is avoided to allow steam penetration. Phacoprobe and tubings are packed into trays for steam sterilization. Care should be taken to wrap the tubing and handpieces separately in the cloth so that the metal component should not come in contact with the wire. Sterilization. Sterilization by heat or autoclaving is most popular method because of its simplicity, reliability, and accuracy. It is cheap and environment friendly. Autoclave. Almost any article which is heat stable can be sterilized using the autoclave. Pre-vacuum flash autoclave, class B/class S. And it requires a holding time of 5 minutes at 134 degrees Celsius and 30 pounds pressure. Cannulated items and items with long tubings can be sterilized in this type of autoclave machines only. Gravity displacement autoclave, class N. This requires a holding time of 30 minutes at 121 degrees Celsius and 15 pounds pressure. After hand washing, remove the drum from the autoclave machine. Immediately close the window of the drum. There are other better but costlier machines available where a graphical record of the temperature and pressure can be obtained. Recently, plasma sterilizers have been launched. They are more efficient but very costly. Hot air oven. Dry heat sterilization can be used for powders, oils, creams, all glass articles and sharp instruments. Use distilled water only for autoclave machines. One should not underestimate the need to run the cycle completely. It is the holding time at required temperature and pressure that is important and not the total cycle time. The outside of autoclaves should be cleaned daily while the inside surface is cleaned weekly. The inside cleaning needs use of trisodium phosphate to remove the chemical residue. Regular servicing of the autoclave machines at 6 monthly interval is mandatory. Calibration of gauges should be done at regular interval, once in a year. Validation of the autoclave machine also needs to be done at yearly interval. ETO. ETO gas sterilization can be used for cryoprobes, IOL, eye shields, vitrectomy probes, sutures, cautery wires, etc. However, the gas is toxic and items need long aeration time after sterilization. Although newer machines have aeration cycle inbuilt and items can be used immediately after taking out from the machine. Cleaning of OT. Daily cleaning. The OT walls up to 6 feet height, floor and doors are wet mopped daily with 1% sodium hypochlorite with 2 or 3 bucket technique. Operating microscope and lenses should be cleaned with 1% sodium hypochlorite. Microscope head is cleaned with Bacillol 25% sprayed daily and covered properly. Trolleys, revolving chairs, operating table, footstool, IV stands are cleaned with 1% sodium hypochlorite. Scrub area should be cleaned with 1% sodium hypochlorite solution every 1 hour while the operating session is going on. Weekly cleaning. All the equipments, furniture, etc. are moved from their position to enable cleaning underneath. Fans, light and clock inside the theatre are wiped with 1% sodium hypochlorite solution. AC filters must be cleaned with detergent solution and then sun-dried. Scrubbing the walls and floor with detergent and mopping with 1% sodium hypochlorite. Monthly cleaning. All the equipments, furniture, etc. are removed from the theatre. Particular attention to be given to corners and edges. Additionally, microscopes, revolving chair and trolleys are cleaned and oiled where necessary. If fumigator not available, 35 ml of 40% formalin in 10 grams potassium permanganate for 1000 CFT. Keep OT closed for 24 hours. 10 to 15 ml liquid ammonia solution can be used next morning to remove the formalin fumes from the OT. Aldecol, that is formaldehyde 6%, glyceraldehyde 6%, and benzalkonium chloride 5% also can be used as an alternative. For 4000 CFT, 325 ml aldecol in 350 ml of water sprayed for 30 minutes. Close OT for 2 hours. Switch on AC. OT will be ready in 3 hours. Hydrogen peroxide 1% and silver nitrate combination or glyceraldehyde and formaldehyde combination can be used as a change fortnightly. Generally, once in a week fumigation is enough. However, depending upon the volume of the surgical work, frequency can be adjusted. If central AC with AHU is installed and positive pressure ventilation is achieved, fumigation is not required. Formalin is irritant to the eye, and if one can afford the cost, non-aldehyde products can be used for the purpose. Ultraviolet lights help cleaning the room air while we are away. These are turned on overnight after the surgical session, when the last person leaves the OT, and turned off when the first person enters the OT next morning. Liquid waste material, for example the contents of the suction bottle, should never be disposed of in a scrub or utility sink but only into a container meant for the purpose. It can be disposed of in the drain after disinfection. Waste management as per the standard practice is suggested. Monitoring environment. The bacterial carrying particle load in theatre is checked by the sedimentation plating technique every fortnight. Alternatively, bacterial counters are also available but costly. A new technique to detect bacterial DNA, which gives immediate results, is also available now, but again, it is costly. Monitoring of sterility. Periodic culture is done once in a week. From sterile area and items such as trolleys, microscope knob, viscoelastic cannula, saline, drums, surgeons and assistants' hands and gown. From unsterile areas and items such as wall, microscopes, floor, operating table, and air conditioner. Nasal and nail bed swabs also should be taken at regular interval and sent for testing. Monitoring of sterilization process and the table of class of indicators. Chemical monitoring. The autoclave strips should be checked for its color changing to jet black, and autoclave strips register should be signed by the theatre in charge and the operating surgeon both after pasting the strips in the register. Done before the surgical session starts. However, chemical indicator strips change their color based on only the temperature attained. It actually does not indicate sterilization. There are 6 classes of indicators. Please refer to the table here. Class 1. Process indicators. Used to show exposure to a process. No information about the success or failure of the process. Class 2. Specific test indicators. For example, BDT. Class 3. Single variable indicators. Respond to a single variable in the process, for example, temperature. Class 4. Multivariable indicators. Respond to 2 or more variables in the process. Class 5. Integrating indicators. Respond in a way which mimics the response of a BI if used in the same process. Class 6. Emulating indicators. Respond to all defined critical variables of the process at levels associated with acceptable sterilizing conditions, for example 134 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. For this reason, once in a week Bowie-Dick test pack or vapor line indicator can be used. Biological monitoring. Biological indicator ampoules are to be put in the load along with other items, generally done once in a week. Frequency can be adjusted as per the workload of the hospital. The autoclaving person should not be aware of its use. Monitoring of activities. All the activities must be monitored carefully by using various checklists like pre-operative checklist, daily cleaning checklist, weekly cleaning checklist, monthly cleaning checklist, weekly nail checklist, weekly autoclave report, the autoclave logbook and autoclave strips register. Monitoring of all these activities are done at a weekly meeting. All these activities done are to be recorded and documents need to be preserved for at least 6 months.